everyone. Today we're gonna talk about planning work activities. In this chapter, we present the basics, what planning is, why managers plan, and how we plan. First, let's define the nature and purposes of planning. Planning involves defining the organization goals, establishing an overall strategy for achieving those goals, and developing plans for organizational work activities. The four purposes of planning include providing direction, reducing uncertainty, minimizing waste and redundancy, and establishing the goals or standard used in controlling. Studies of planning performance relationship have concluded that formal planning is associated with positive financial performance for the most part. It's more important to do a good job of planning and implementing the plan rather than doing more extensive planning. The external environment is usually the reason why companies that plan don't achieve high levels of performance, and the planning performance relationship seems to be influenced by the planning time frame.
Hi, my name is Thư and I'm going to classify the types of goals organization might have and the plans they use. Goals are desired outcome and plans are documents that outline how goals are going to be met. Goals might be strategic or financial and they might be stated or real. Now I will introduce the A type of plans. Strategic plans apply to the entire organizations, while operational plans encompass a particular functional area. Long-term plans are those with a time beyond 3 years, whereas short-term plans cover 1 year or less. Specific plans are clearly defined and leave no room for interpretation. Directional plans are flexible and set out general guidelines. A single plan is a one-time plan designed to meet the needs of a unique situation. And the last one is standing plans, plans that are ongoing and that provide guidance for activities performed repeatedly. So that's the end of my part. Now Lynn will continue.
Hello, my name is Lynn and I will continue the presentation with part 3, setting goals and developing plans. So, let's begin with some approaches to setting goals. Goals provide a direction for all management decision and action and form the criterion against which actual accomplishments are measured. In traditional goal settings, goals set by top managers flow down through the organization and become sub-goals for each organizational area. Besides, instead of using traditional goal setting, many organizations use management by objective, a process of setting mutually agreed upon goals and using those goals to evaluate employee performance. Here, we have a list of 8 steps of MPO. It can increase employees' performance and organizational productivity. Therefore, MBO is still relevant for today's organization. Move to some characteristics of well-written goal. Here we have a list of 6 characteristics that making a well-written work goal. Let's discuss some steps in goal setting. We have first, review the organizational missions or purpose. Second, evaluate available resources. Third, determine the goals individually or with input from others. Fourth, write down the goals and communicate them to all who need to know. And the last one, review results and whether goals are being met. Now, we will move to developing plans. The process of developing plan is influenced by 3 agency factors and by the planning approach followed. The last one, approaches to planning. The 2 main approaches to planning include first, traditional approach, which has plans developed by top managers may use a formal planning department. Next is another project to involve more organizational members in the planning process. So that is the end of my part.
Now, let's move on to case application 1. Crisis planning at Livestrong Foundation. First question. Could an organization even plan for this type of situation? If yes, how, and if not, why not? I think an organization can plan for this type of situation, although it would still be a hard time for them when it occurs. The top managers should know that such kind of information like that will be reviewed one day, and what they need to do is having some contingency plans for the future. How would goals be useful in this type of situation, and what types of goals might be necessary? Goals can create motivation for the employees, giving them a clear goal, and they can try to put their effort into it and help the company go through bad situation. Type of goals might be necessary or real goals. What type of plans will be useful to Livestrong? Explain why this would be important. In my opinion, strategic, short-term, directional, and single use are types of plans will be useful to Livestrong because this is not a big company, so the financial support may not sustainable. Such situation like the one happened in 2012 may occur in the future, and they all have a huge impact on the organization. Managers need to have plans that under high uncertainty. What lessons about planning can managers learn from what Livestrong have endured? In my opinion, managers should anticipate some bad events or situations that can harm their business and therefore have some plans to deal with them when it really happens.
So let's move to the case application about shifting directions. The first question is, what role do you think goals would play in planning and a change in direction for a company? And list some goals you think might be important. So strong goals trickle down from the top managers and inspire all employees to work toward them. They also allow the company to move forward with change in the environment. 3 goals that would be important for a company would be to completely serve the needs of the customer, to have an environment of integrity and respect, and to have each employee feel welcome in the company and successful. The next question is, what types of planes would be needed in an industry such as this one? Explain why do you think these planes would be important? Well, planes for technology companies like Garmin need to be extremely flexible as the market for these devices is constantly changing. Having flexible planes will allow them to take technological change in stride and continue to focus on their efforts. The next one is, what contingency factors might affect the planning government executives have to do? How might those contingency factors affect the planning? Well, the executives of government may have big goals and they want to accomplish with shifting in a whole new direction. But it will take time to transition the company, system and structure to meet these future commitments. Therefore, the new ideas may have to be longer-term goals in order to meet them. The environmental uncertainty is when the factors or changes in external environment are unknown, and especially in the marketplace, so managers have to be prepared to change when necessary and go with the flow to speak. And the last question about this case is, what planning challenge do you think government executives face with continuing to be the global market leader? And how should they cope with this challenge? Well, I believe that this company just needs to remember they are global leader. So many competitors may like they are trying to be in their position, and one of them, they must have a planning as an ongoing process, constantly wanting to improve and stay on top as well. So they should be utilize environmental scanning by screening information to detect emerging trends and be ready to follow or move with those trends. They must also stay up to date on their competitor so they can anticipate and what they might to do next instead of being caught up guard just reacting to them.
Hi, I'm Ngân. Today we're gonna talk about managing strategy. In this chapter, we will figure out how managers manage the strategies that will play an important role in a company's ability to reach its goals. An underlying theme in this chapter is that effective strategies can result in high organizational performance. Let's move to the first question. What is strategic management? Strategic management is what managers do to develop the organization's strategy. Strategies are the plans for how the organization will do whatever is in business to do, how it will compete successfully, and how it will attract and satisfy its customers in order to achieve its goal. A business model is how a company is going to make money. Strategic management is important for three reasons. First, it makes a difference in how well organizations perform. Second, it's important for helping managers cope with continually changing situations. And finally, strategic management helps coordinate and focus employee efforts on what's important. The strategic management process consists of 6 steps, which encompass strategy planning, implementation, and evaluation. These steps include the following. First, identify the current mission, goals, and strategies. 2. Do an external analysis. 3. Do an internal analysis. Step 2 and 3 can collectively are known as SWOT analysis. 4. Formulate strategies. 5. Implement strategies. And finally, evaluate strategies. Strengths are any activities the organization does well or its unique resources. Weaknesses are activities that the organization doesn't do well or resources it needs. Opportunities are positive trends in the external environment. Otherwise, threats are negative trends.
Hi, my name is Tu and I'm going to describe 3 types of corporate strategies. A growth strategy is when an organization expands the number of markets served or products offered, either through current or new businesses. The types of growth strategies include concentrations, vertical integration, horizontal integration, and lastly, diversification. A stability strategy is when an organization makes no significant changes in what it's doing. Both renewal strategies, retrenchment, and turnaround address organizational weaknesses, leading to performance decline. The BCG matrix is a way to analyze a company's portfolio of businesses by looking at a business market share and its industry anticipated growth rate. The four categories of the BCG matrix are cash flows, stars, question marks, and doubts. So now, let's describe the competitive advantage and the competitive strategy organizations use to get it. An organization's competitive advantage is what sets it apart, its distinctive edge. A company's competitive advantage becomes the basic for choosing an appropriate competitive strategy. Porter's 5 forces model assesses the 5 competitive forces that dictate the rules of competition in an industry, and these are threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, and lastly, currently rivalry. Porter's 3 competitive strategies are as follows. First, cost leadership. Second, differentiation. And last is focus. So this is the end of my part. Now Lynn will continue. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lin and I will continue the presentation with part 5, current strategic management issues. So, managers face 3 current strategic management issues. The first one is strategic leadership, the ability to anticipate, envision, maintain flexibility, think strategically, and work with others in the organizational to initiate changes that will create a viable and valuable future for the organization and include 8 key dimensions. Second, strategic flexibility, the ability to recognize major external environmental changes, to quickly commit resources, and to recognize when a strategic decision isn't working, and it is important. The last one, important organizational strategy for today's environment. In these issues, we will have each business strategy, which reduce costs, differentiates their firm's products and services, target specific customer group, lower by standardizing certain office functions. And an important each business strategies is click by brick, a combined online and traditional stand-alone locations. The others is customer services strategies. Managers can use this to become more customer-oriented, include giving customers what they want, communicating effectively with them, and having a culture that emphasizes customer service. The last in this factor, innovation strategy. Managers can use to become more innovative, include declining their original innovation's emphasis and its innovation theming. So that is the end of my part.
On this case application, we got a question number 1 is how is strategic management illustrated by this case story. So first, strategic management involves all basic management functions like planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. It is illustrated in this case story when Mr. Ortega opened his first Zara clothing store, and the business model of the company was to sell high fashion, look-alike to price-conscious the Europeans. It is also illustrated when the Zara clothing store planned to do fast fashion, which means getting designs for a customer quickly. Next one, how might SWOT analysis be helpful to Lady Gaga as she and her advisor manage her career? So SWOT analysis can be used in managing Lady Gaga's career, in considering her singing ability on what type or kind of music that she will record, also in looking to her different talent and how they can use it or synchronize it to her singing ability. The third question is, what competitive advantage do you think Lady Gaga is pursuing? And how is she exploiting that competitive advantage? So, she has evolved a unique relationship with her fans through social media sites such as Twitter and Facebook. Technology such as those sites have created platforms for mass intimacy. But however, this often does not work because followers know that communication is not directly intended as an individual person. In almost every interview and performance, Lady Gaga thanks her fans for supporting her and attributing her success as much to them as to her own creativity and hard working. She also communicates that her every succeed and breakthrough is also theirs. And the last question is, do you think Lady Gaga's succeed is due to external or internal factors or both? And explain why. Well, lots of people accepted that Lady Gaga's but like some uh, there are some who are not into this kind of music. And however, Lady Gaga's succeed is due to her competitive nature, where she's taking every opportunity to advance and survive in this industry. And she also tried to adapt the changing developments of technology and also the people and fans who want a new and unique style of music to produce more of the popular items.